Okay, good morning, everyone. We're going to get right into the stock market technical analysis. Got some really big things to point out, guys. You know, as far as I can tell, it's time to get out of the tech stocks and possibly the market in general. We've got sell signals across the board, so I'm going to point those out. And we nailed this breakdown or this gap down that we're seeing today. So you go back and watch my other videos. I kept calling for the fact that I think we're going to gap down in the triple Qs. I'm going to show you guys why I thought that and where I think we're heading here in the future. So as we get into it, leave me a thumbs up as you guys find value. It does help the channel, and I'll continue putting out this content here. And if you're interested in how I'm reading the charts and what skill set I'm using, take my stock market technical analysis course. I go through all these topics: candlestick analysis, trendline analysis, divergence analysis, risk reward analysis. It's about 4 to 5 hours worth of training for 99 bucks. It's basically minimum wage prices for the time there. So good value there. Check that out. Link in the description below. All right. Triple Qs. All right, we got the gap down today. And the thing is that basically we've got big sell signals going on. So on the daily chart here, you'll see this blue line that I have marked out. This goes all the way back to September of 2020. And I've got all the tags of support. This has been our trend line basically for all of 2021 and part of 2020. You can see we held support here, here, here. We held support here. And here we are today. On Friday, we pretty much closed right at support. And we, so this is where the bulls should have stepped in, but today we gapped down. So basically what we've done is we've trapped all the bullish money, or anybody that was buying at support, or anybody who's here saying there's no reason to get out, the trend's your friend. Well, we've trapped all that bullish money here on this gap down. We're below the trend line support, and this trend line has not been broken for over a year now. A year and a couple months. So that tells me that we're likely heading much lower, and at a minimum down to this level, 354. It's about 355 as our next key level of support. Now we're seeing a little bit of a bounce today. Again, this is just a counter trend bounce, but I think, given that we've broken this level here, this was our former support, 377, 70, 378, somewhere right in there. That was broke with this gap down, so I think we're just going to rally up into that and then sell off. The sellers are going to step back in. I don't think they're going to let all this money here that's now been trapped on this gap down, I don't think they're going to give them an opportunity to get out. So these people are going to likely, these traders are likely going to turn into sellers as more selling mounts and we start to head lower. All this volume here becomes selling, which gives us the fuel basically for the downside move down to this next support level at about 355, 354.50. Okay, so I like that for the downside. So far we've been correct on the short that I talked about, pretty much back here on the 4th, and we've sold down from that, pretty much, at the lows today we were down about 7.5%, 7%, 7.5%. And this downside move has wiped out all the gains going back to, going back quite a while, but definitely going back to October, mid-October or so of last year. So about a quarter's worth of gains have been negated in, 5-6 days. Okay, so I see more selling coming in. I think it's likely going to start soon. If I go to the hourly chart, you can see here, we're rallying up to this former resistance right here, which is about 377.80. And somewhere right in here is where we're likely going to get rejected. Now, we could bounce up to this area, about 381, 382, back test this broken trend line. But I do think we're going to, it's sell the rip at this moment. So I think as you rally, look for opportunities to short, in my opinion, or opportunities to get out of your long trades if you are long. Again, yeah, I am looking for, a little bit of a bounce. We've seen a bounce so far today. Maybe there's a little more to go. But again, it's sell the rip. So it gives you an opportunity to either short if you haven't done so or get out of your longs. Microsoft here. So this was your former resistance level. You can see all these reactions. Then we broke and it was support. And we've come right down to that level right there. So there it is, 306. We're bouncing off of that. Maybe we're going to bounce up to the trend line. But Again, this is where I'd want to short this thing if it was going to get up there for a move down. Okay, so longer term, or short to medium term. Short term, we could bounce a little more. Medium term, I think we're heading much lower than where we're at today. So you got to just determine on how you want to trade that, whether it's just ride out the bounce that we're seeing, or if you want to actively trade it. But I do think we are heading lower. So let's look at the SPY here. On the SPY, you can see on this daily chart here, we're still in this upward channel. But I do think we are heading down to the bottom of the channel right here. So maybe we're going to bounce up, fill this gap, and then roll over down to this trend line right there. All right, so that's down there at roughly, 450 or so. Okay, so all in all, the bigger thing to watch, though, in my opinion, is the triple Qs, because we just got that major break of that trend line on this daily chart. Now, the day's not over. If they can manage to rally it up and close the day back above this support line, or close it on this line, then it's going to keep everyone guessing, and we'll have to determine, is this just a one-day wonder on the breakdown, or did we actually break the trend line? But if we don't manage to get that rally and the sellers step into the close, then I would expect much more selling to come in the near future. Possibly another, down to this next support level, another 5 to 6% in the triple Qs, which is what I'm anticipating. So that's how I'm positioned as of right now. Okay, gold. So as tech looks weak, gold looks strong. And here's gold bullion. Again, just to show you the bigger picture, I continue to reiterate this because it takes time for these trades to play out. But by the time they start to work and we're up 10%, that's not the time that you want to be piling into a position. You want to anticipate that oftentimes. So gold, here's going back to 2018. This is your bull market in gold, and you can see all the reactions and tags of that marked in red right there. So I've got them kind of circled, and I've got lots of things circled out. But you're watching this trend line right here. So you can see today we just another successful test of that support line. We've held. We're bouncing off of it. So until we break this, we have, we're holding the bullish trend. Okay, and then I'm looking at miners like Newmont being the largest miner, and look at this. I pointed this out. So this was your former resistance, 59.03. You can see 1, 2, 3 tags of that. We broke out, came in for a back test, and so far today we're holding. So that's a successful test of that support, and we're bouncing off of there. So I would think at this point, given the chart, that we're going to start to put in an uptrend and start to move higher over time, which should bode well for the other miners, given that this is kind of the largest gold miner. The other miners should follow. If the largest one's rallying, these others should as well. And they're all looking relatively bullish today, with gold bullion holding that support. AVGO, talked about this one. We got short right up here at this resistance. So far, this thing is down from that tag of resistance. It's, at the lows today was down 10.5%. So far, a successful trade. Now we're likely gonna, we're kind of bouncing, but we still have this gap to fill right here at 59 or 593.40. So I would expect us to, fill that gap. Maybe we get a bounce there. Ultimately, though, the bigger picture, I think this thing's going much, much lower. And, I've got some targets down here. We have a level right here to watch, 546.11, 492.10, and 420 or 419.75. Each one of those, I think, is actually going to get hit. So as we fall down into those levels, I would expect there to be reactions along the way at those levels. So that's what I'm watching for. But so far, the trade's working out. We're up 10.5% on the trade. And nothing wrong on that one. Still looks good. I haven't pointed this one out in a while, but GNRC, again, we got short on the sell signal right there on November 3rd. And from that sell signal, even if you took it at the very end of the day where it was closing, you're up by 29%. So that's a 29% gain on that trade. Pointed it out on this channel back here before the trade actually played out. Now we're starting to fall. We've got another level of support. This is pretty good support right here at about 288. You can see that we held, this was resistance, then we held support, and then there's another tag. So I think that's where we're going in the short term. I'd look for us to fall down to there, probably undercut it a little, and then recover. And this is the area where we're likely going to get a bounce. It's also my final target that I've had on this trade. So at this point, we're just about there. And I would look for, us to probably get down there and then hold, and we'll likely rally off of there. So the trade's almost done, but I did want to point that out as a successful trade so far. Okay, so the big thing I want to really point out is just we've broken the daily chart on the Qs. Looks like we're going to have a pretty swift move to the downside in tech. That should drag the rest of the market down. So I just want to get this video out to kind of point that out. I'm expecting the rally that we're seeing today to get sold into, maybe into the end of the day, and more downside in the near term to come. So want to get that out and let everyone know what I'm looking for, and good luck. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Bye.